schools being built, hospitals being built. Africa is the largest infrastructure development budget in the last 10 years, but you never hear that from anyone. You never hear from anyone. And out of those 10 years, the 4 years, the one that dominated infrastructure development over everyone. And Zimbabwe right now, the statistics in terms of investor friendliness, in terms of crime rates, is at the top. But you never hear that. So we decided we want to do something about it. So last year, after working with some research, we launched this magazine, our marketing department, African Index. And this is I'm the editor for this. And essentially, we just wanted to tell our story of what is happening and what can change and what needs to be done. So essentially, we find ourselves today is Africa Capacity. We didn't call it Africa Capacity, obviously. We call it African Index, a different brand. We've gone into this space now. My wish is that we get more people who can understand that just because you're a businessman doesn't make that fact attractive. Is to nurture a new breed of business people. And I think the greatest challenge that you guys face today is that you have 3 generations competing. In the olden days, to all those who know the growth forms, there'll be one businessman with big bank, and this guy owned the supermarket, and no one else owned any businesses, right? And his sons would grow up and would work for the guy, and you all head to the supermarket to buy. Well, life has changed since then. Your granddad is in business, your father is in business, you are in business. You're all searching for the same market. So what does that say about Zimbabwe? It means that we've forgotten the spirit of mentorship. So there's no more passing on the baton. So if you look at it, reflect even on the industry. How many of you right now have tried to sit down with some prominent Zimbabwean businessmen? They don't have time for you. They don't even give you an appointment. They don't even want to reply your SMS. Guess what? Because they're now competition. So what it simply means is that this generation, you need to break that barrier and begin to remove the silos and do what you guys are doing here. But don't come up here and just look all gorgeous and nice and speak good British English and then you go and think you've done a good job. You guys need to put each other to the test. Pressure test your ideas when you're here. Teach just came up with a brilliant idea. I didn't hear anyone asking about his operational expenses. I didn't hear anyone asking about what was your profit last year. Why? Because if you ask him those questions, you're now challenging his business side of it. You're not making him bankable. So Teach can come here with an amazing product. But tomorrow if Teach gets broke, he's going to knock on your door looking for a job. And what are you going to say? There goes another failure. So the statistic is that no SME in Africa survives for 5 years. If you look very carefully, how many guys you know started businesses 5 years ago that are still doing the same thing? None, right? Maybe 1 year already. And this is where you're going to. So, unfortunately, I don't have much time, but I think this is some of the things that you guys need to look at. Now, what are the lessons learned from that? Number one, you need to understand that when you get a vision, it's a calling. You see, if business wasn't a calling, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, Susan, and Jenny would have the same idea. Because it's a calling, it means that you have a business idea that has got a capacity to impact so many other people. So, for example, to start a business, you pay this guy, when he gets paid, is going to pay his loan, is going to go to the little tuck shop down the road, so he'll buy something, so it becomes a cycle. So it means that business ideas land on people that have the capacity to be responsible and convert that idea into something which is bankable and which can have a high impact. So I always believe that you need to be able to understand. The second lesson that I've learned from there is that you don't need assurances, blessings, or affirmation from anyone. Because this is the challenge with you. You think of a brilliant idea, you think clearly in your head, this is what's going to do. Guess what you do? Because you're so afraid to start, you spend 6-7 months bouncing off your ideas against people who have never run in a tuck shop. Why are you doing that? You're looking for assurances so that you can dilute your fear. And this is the challenge that I've seen many times. And when I started Africa Capacity, and I said I'm leaving IT, by the way, I'm a 90 person. I started doing IT when I was 16. And from everything that I decided to do, when I said I'm going into finance, people looked at me like, okay, how's that going to work? Because the strategy of business is still the same. Create a product, sell it, make profits, create another one, sell it, make profit. It's the same thing, create sustainability. So whether they're selling eggs or potatoes or tomatoes, the concept of business is still the same. So So today you shouldn't be afraid to go to medical fraternity. Because you don't have to be a doctor to operate a hospital. How many of you know that doctors are the worst people to run a hospital? They'll probably give away all the medicine. If you run it, everyone gets one aspirin. So essentially, everything that comes from it is that you need to believe in yourself. That's good enough. And married guys make the mistake of then bouncing ideas off your wife. Now, you need to understand that your wife is there, she's a pillar, she supports you, but she's not a business person. So the worst thing you need to do is bounce your ideas against guys who walked the road that you've walked across. And only then can you tell this idea as it works. So half the time, when people then go through our website and read my profile, that's when they figure out that I'm not a banker. But when I see the man with also a good suit, I just blend in. And because I believe in myself, and whatever I'm speaking is now from the experiences that I've learned. And I've become so good at what I do is because I started my first business with my own money. I bought 3 businesses along the way to expand it. And everything that I did, 6, 7 capital raises later, I never went to school for it. It was based on experience. So the third lesson is experience is the best teacher. I was telling some guys at the back thing, I said, what are your failures? One guy says statistics, the other guy said too many to forget. And I said to them, what you have to remember is that when you make a mistake, it's not bad. You see, when you're actually doing it, you don't even make a mistake. The only time you know it's a mistake is when someone reminds you of what the result should have been. How many times you know that? How many people know that? You know, when you're doing something, you actually don't know it's a mistake. You're actually putting energy, sweating, blood, sweat, and tears into it. And what sometimes destroys you as a business person, what I've learned, is when the spectators, the observers, now magnify the problem. So if you make a loss today for $1 million, don't go around telling everyone, oh, I made a loss of $1 million. Because to you, maybe you have a strategy to work around. But if you go to a George Thomas who's never made $100, it's going to be, what? I mean, you're a dead man. Dead man. How are you going to get out of this? Oh my God. And some of you are going to go through certain challenges where even your properties are touched. The sheriff can come and take all your desks and everything else. Don't ever make the mistake of them having a bucket of tears and carrying it to the wrong people. Always take to the lesson and say, how did I get to this position? Correct yourself going backwards, and you can get out of it. And so, some of the challenges to round up that I found is that Africans have a problem. We like owning 100% of nothing. It's a big problem. That's why we don't do it. We come up with an amazing idea, which if you take it to America right now, it will probably be bigger than Google. It will probably be bigger than IBM or anything else. But because it's mine, you know, the pastor prophesied to me, my wife knows, blood, sweat, and tears, I was sleeping at 2 a.m. You get emotionally attached to it. That if someone walks in your door and says, hi, are you that guy who's got that amazing product? Can I buy 50% in your business for $2 million? A certain thing tells you that, but don't sell it because you're going to make $10 million. But what we don't understand is that when you open up corporate governance and you bring in other people into your business, it dilutes the emotion. So the emotion is the number one reason why we fail. You know, I'm in a transition now in my life. Last year, Africa Capacities is 13th year anniversary. I've been in business for close to 16 years now. And I just made a decision that this is my final year as CEO of Africa Capacity. So right now I'm on a capital call raise. I'm trying to work on investment drive. We're trying now to take Africa Capacity to the next level. My dream and my vision, as serious as it might sound, is to own a private-owned development bank, because every development bank is owned by government. So my vision is to start a financial institution which can actually go on to support young entrepreneurs, youth, and other guys who are coming across. So I'm actually in the final era where I'm now saying, when the time comes, I'll need to step down and maybe concentrate now on developing Beko, but I don't have time anymore to continue to sit on the desk and develop it. Because I can see now I'm becoming emotional about certain things, and I know that at this stage I know other people to come in. So essentially when my business was starting to grow, I decided to start selling shareholding to investors. So right now I own 37% of Africa Capacity. Everything else is held by investors. I still have very little to say. I have royalties for 5% wherever the business goes in. But essentially, where the business is today, it would not be there if the capital call didn't happen, if I didn't basically bring in private equity investors. So change your business. The next level of business is that when someone else can believe that they can put money in your business, you are there. As long as right now you are struggling to get people to buy into your business, it's not good enough. The stage when everyone is knocking on your door saying, give us shareholder, that means you've got one brilliant idea and this thing is going to go far. And at that point, you need to be wise. Do I get in people? Do I carry on? Because the danger is that if you do something silly, just 3 months after the offer came, and that value which they sold goes out the window, then you're back to square one. So the involvement of this is don't be an SME forever and you see you each night, 5 years later you see the same faces. You can't do this. You have to evolve and go somewhere. So hey, that's my story. I just thought I'll come and share with you guys. We have a couple of minutes for questions. If you have anything else you'd like to know. Thank you. You guys can see why I like